Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the Alcibiades of board game review shows. One of these days I'm going to defect to the Dice Tower. I'll probably just come back. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the absolute worst thing about wars is that they're all public. That's why I was so excited when Legendary decided that they were going to come out with Secret Wars Volume 1 from Upper Deck. Legendary Secret Wars Volume 1 from Upper Deck is a brand new expansion to your Legendary game. Now, if you have seen the Discriminating Gamer before, if you've ever watched us, whenever we've talked about the Legendary system, be it the Alien, Predator game, the original Marvel game, you know it's terrible. We do not like Legendary here. If it were opposite day! We love Legendary. Legendary is fantabulicious. You know it's good when I make up a word. Ladies and gentlemen, Legendary is my deck builder of choice. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Now, I love the Marvel game. I think Alien and Predator have even improved on it quite a bit. But I still love playing with the superheroes. I still love the Marvel games, both the original Marvel and the villains version, and I love all the expansions that come out. Now, of course, there are several expansions to Legendary. There was the Dark City expansion, which was the kind of first big box one, but since then you've had Fantastic Four, the Spider-Man one, Paint the Town Red, Guardians of the Galaxy, which we did a review on, which is just fantastic. And indeed, if you want to learn how to play the Legendary game, you can check out Season 1, Episode 5 of The Discriminating Gamer, where we actually break this down. But today I'm just going to talk about the new Secret Wars expansion. Now, first of all, let me tell you right now, I really don't know a whole heck of a lot about the comic world that this is based on. I know the Secret Wars, I think there was something big in the 80s. I remember I had little action figures of Captain America and Doctor Doom from their Secret Wars line of action figures when I was a kid. I had a little playset, too. It was awesome. Gosh, I wish I still had that. But anyway, I don't really know what the storyline is. But what I do know is there's a lot of heroes and a lot of villains that through alternate dimensions and what have you, some of them turn good, some of them turn evil, and that's why you got some weird, funky things like Thanos being a hero. Weird, right? So the first thing you need to know about this game is there are a lot of your familiar, friendly heroes and villains, but as I say, they are kind of recast in different molds. There's kind of different attitudes and different allegiances amongst these different heroes, and that's going to come into play, and it's going to be pretty funky to see just how they go up against each other here. You've got characters like Lady Thor, Superior Iron Man, the Mariner, Magic, Thanos, as I mentioned earlier, many, many more. There's a lot of different heroes that come with this game. You also have a lot of different villain groups and henchman groups. You also have several new masterminds. You've got a zombie Green Goblin, you've got the Wasteland Hulk, you've got Nimrod, who's some kind of weird sentinel dude, and more. And so there's a lot of different characters that come into play here. Additionally, the game comes with a new bystander, a banker, which has some funky effects, and of course you've got a lot of new schemes. There's several different schemes that come with this game, and the ones I played are very, very cool as well. So in addition to all of the new cards that come with this game, there are, of course, several new keywords, some new factions, and new ways the cards work with each other. So you kind of have two new factions. You have the Illuminati, which are kind of some good guys. You have the Cabal, which are some bad guys. And what's going to happen is whenever you play one of those cards, and then you kind of play another card with that same faction, depending on what the text ability is, you may be able to activate some kind of a cool bonus. You'll also notice there are some multi-class cards. Now, in all the other Legendary games, you know, some cards have like kind of the Hulk fist, the strength. You have the instinct with the Wolverine lines. You have ranged weapons. You have all these things, attack, and Each card had one of these. Now, some cards actually have two of these, which means they can activate different cards. And that's going to be very powerful as well when you're looking for those really cool combinations based on those factors. Now, what is also cool here is some of the villains that will be coming out of the villain deck, like the Thor Corps and others, when you fight them, instead of going into your trophy pile for points, you actually get them into your hand. They suddenly become heroes. They turn, and they go to your discard pile, then you shuffle them through. They come up in your hand. So it's cool now in that the villain cards represent something else as well. That's kind of fun. That's interesting. You have, of course, some keywords like teleport. You can put a card aside out of your hand and just put it into your next hand, which we've seen before. You got bribe, which we've seen before, which means you can spend both, attack and recruit in order to take down some of the villains. So that happens as well. There's also a Rise of the Living Dead condition that can come up, and that means everybody checks the top card of their victory pile. If it's a card that says Rise of the Living Dead, it kind of goes back into the city. So it kind of a weird zombie way to bring back some of these cards, and again, another fun and interesting new mechanic that can kind of be pretty scary in this game. There's also another key term here, cross-dimensional rampage. And what that means is, it'll usually say cross-dimensional rampage Hulk or cross-dimensional rampage Wolverine. And what that means is each player then has to show a Hulk or a Wolverine card or whatever the hero or villain is from their victory pile. They have to show one of those cards, or they're going to have to take a wound. So it's kind of a way to keep all the players on their toes. It's another way the game can attack you. Another new interesting kind of dynamic here is the idea of sidekicks. And sidekicks are cool because they cost 2 to recruit, and you can always recruit them as long as they're there. It's a stack kind of like the officers. And when you recruit one of these guys, they don't do anything directly, but if they come up in your hand, you can discard it to draw 2 new cards. So it's kind of an investment to give you a stronger hand later on in the game. You can also receive some of these through various other means, but you can only buy 1 per turn. If some text ability also lets you take 1, that's fine. Now, there's also some ways where some of the villains coming out of the villains deck can also become a second mastermind. So you're playing against the main mastermind, but then another mastermind can come out that you've got to fight as well, and that can lead to some hairy situations. Now, there's also a new mode of play here where one of the players can actually play the mastermind. He is going to take these ambition cards. He's going to have a hand, and he can play ambition cards throughout the game, which is ways he can try to kind of attack and screw with the heroes and, again, try to win the game for himself. So those are the basic new ideas and new additions to this expansion. But again, it plays more or less the same as previous Legendary games. People go around and around, buying cards, knocking cards out of the city, trying to defeat the Mastermind, and of course, putting cards in their discard, reshuffling, and drawing new cards. So it plays very similar to the other Legendary games, except with these few key concepts that are introduced here. So, what can I say? I love Legendary. There was no way I was going to dislike Secret Wars. I like it a lot. I think Secret Wars is a very fun and interesting new expansion. Now, I have to tell you right now, I have not yet played it with the one player playing the Mastermind. I'm eager to do that. I want to see how that plays, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't really comment on that. But just what this expansion brings to the game in terms of new cards, in terms of new schemes, in terms of new keywords and abilities, and just funky stuff like that, it's great. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. I've said this before, but the Marvel Legendary expansions just keep giving more of a good thing. And that's what this expansion is. It's more of a good thing. I really, really enjoy it. I enjoy how some of the cards have the multi-class thing. That makes making those combos a little bit easier. I really like the villains that when you defeat them, they come into your hand. So many times when I'm playing Legendary, that's one of the things I'm always like, I defeated that guy, and that's cool, but I'd like to get a card for it, and now you kind of can. You can get a card that's going to recycle through, so it's a way you're knocking out a villain, and at the same time you're making yourself stronger, so I really like that ability as well. That was one of my favorite things about this new game. Like I say, some of the heroes, though, are freaking awesome. The Old Man Logan, which is kind of this grizzled old Wolverine, he has some fun stuff. The Superior Iron Man has some really fun stuff here. The Spider-Man version of the game I like, and of course Thanos. Thanos is freaking awesome. I love the Thanos cards. Thanos just does some amazing things in this game. He has abilities where he can knock out bystanders. You can essentially just take bystanders out of the bystander deck, put them in the KO, and then that makes him more powerful and helps him take out villains in the Mastermind. It was really, really a cool thing they did there, and I really enjoyed that mechanic quite a bit. Lady Thor, it's fun seeing her in this game, and I really got a kick out of that. Generally, I freaking love the new cards. The Masterminds are cool. The Rise of the Dead ability is a lot of fun. It's just another new... I'm constantly amazed at how they can come up with these fun, new, and unique mechanics for each of these sets. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy expansion with the shards. I thought that was very cool and very interesting and new and fun. And I really like what Secret Wars Volume 1 brings to the table. Now, the question is, let's say you just got the base game, you just got Legendary, and you want to buy one of the expansions. Which one do you buy first? Well, I'll tell you right now, you probably want to get one of the big box ones, Dark City or this, because you get the most cards. The little ones are cool. They bring fun stuff. Like I say, of the 3 smaller ones, Guardians of the Galaxy is probably my favorite. But of the 2 big box ones, Dark City or Secret Wars Volume 1, I'd probably go with Dark City. I think Dark City's just got some of the more iconic heroes and villains. It just feels like a good natural first expansion to Legendary. But rather than run out and buy the 3 smaller ones, I'd pick up Secret Wars Volume 1 first. I really like it. I cannot tell you how excited I am about Secret Wars Volume 2. I heard recently they're playtesting it, they're getting it ready. Hope they release that thing soon because, man, as soon as it drops, I'm there. I'm super excited about Marvel Legendary. Fantastic game. No-brainer. If you own a copy of Marvel Legendary, sooner or later, you gotta buy this expansion. You gotta buy Secret Wars. Buy them all. That's what I say. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And you know, with Upper Deck coming out with all these new Legendary IPs, they're going to do Firefly Legendary, they're going to do Big Trouble in Little China Legendary. I'm hoping one day, before too long, we see The Discriminating Gamer Legendary. It'd be great. Zach could be a mastermind. He's mean. He's mean.